Two old rivals from the Premier League took on each other in the Rome derby, as Mourinho took his Roma side to Sarri's Lazio. In the end, Sarri came out on top in a thrilling end-to-end match. Sarri lined up in his favoured 4-3-3, Pedro starting against his former club and the manager that sold him. Mourinho also started with his favoured system, the 4-2-3-1, with Tammy Abraham leading the line. Lazio favour playing short passes out from the keeper. Roma did not press high, which allowed the ball to go to the centre-backs. The midfield pushes up and the full-backs push up to be in line with the pivot, as Lazio form a 2-3-5 shape. The wide attackers hug the touchline, making the pitch as big as possible. The two attacking midfielders then have the freedom to play in the half spaces, and would often come short to collect passes, or occupy the space between the full-backs and the centre-backs. When one of the attacking midfielders comes short, which they like to do, the attacker now has to try and tackle the player with the ball. This allows the fullback to advance up the pitch and form a 2 versus 1. To counter this, the opposition's pivot has to move over and cover the extra man. This then opens up more space in the midfield. It was this width that created the first goal. Milinkovic-Savic has the freedom to run beyond Roma's back four and connect with Felipe Anderson's cross. Lazio were in no rush to get the ball forward, instead spending time in the build-up and moving their attackers into position around Roma's defence. Out of possession, the wide attackers cover the spaces in front of the fullbacks, and the midfielders get close to the pivot, as Lazio form a defensive 4-5-1. Lazio would position their midfield between Roma's, so Roma often had a big gap between the two pivots and the attacking midfielders. With Lazio controlling the midfield, it meant that Roma were forced into playing long balls up to Abraham and El Shaarawy. It was this loss of possession on the edge of the Lazio penalty box that led to Lazio's second. A brilliant counter-attack and quick thinking from Pedro sees Lazio go 2-0 up. Although Lazio are good in possession, we must also give credit to Sarri's team for their defensive organisation too. Roma scored 2 goals today, but both goals were from set pieces. Roma found it very difficult to break down Lazio, as Lazio ensured they outnumbered Roma and ensured the spaces between the defence and the midfield were perfect. From this defensive organisation, Lazio were able to win the ball back on the edge of the penalty box and hit Roma on the counter-attack for the second time in the same game. Immobile breaking free of the defence and slotting in a perfect pass to Anderson. Roma liked to have quite a bit of coverage at the back when playing out from the keeper. Often they would keep 5 players back when playing out short from the keeper. This cautiousness limited their options going forward. From the keeper, the ball would be played out to one of their centre-backs, and the two pivots remain deep, providing cover in central areas, while one of the full-backs pushes up on the other side to form a front 5 and provide width. The other full-back has room to bring the ball into the second phase, but with Lazio's 5-man midfield blocking passes into the forwards, Roma are often forced to play longer passes out wide, which results in losing possession. Despite having more shots and more possession, the XG tells us that Lazio created the better chances and deserved the victory against their city rivals. As mentioned earlier, Roma didn't press Lazio in their half. Instead, they preferred to sit back and protect their own half and formed a 4-5-1 or a 4-4-2 when doing this. Roma were not always so organised when out of possession. They relied on the two pivots to protect the back four, and there were often gaps between the midfield for Lazio to exploit. Conclusion: Sarri and Mourinho started these two teams at the same time. But on this display, Sarri has brought an identity to Lazio that Mourinho hasn't brought to Roma just yet. For a Mourinho team, this Roma side seems easy to break down.